Today on the table, I brought you the Taurus 1911 Commander. These firearms are actually pretty affordable. The overall fit and finish looks okay. I don't see any blems in it anywhere. It's got a park finish. Looks alright. You got these plastic grips. Capacity, you're looking at 8 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the pipe. And this is an anti-tilt follower, which is pretty important with 1911s because the rounds like to nosedive. There's also a pretty decent polish on the feed ramp, so it will help with your reliability. When you purchase the firearm, you're going to get an owner's manual. You get a pretty nice hard case, tool to disassemble it. The hard case is constructed very nice, hinged in the back. The locking mechanisms are hinged in the front. It does have a spot for a padlock. Pretty cool. Skeletonized trigger, I think that looks alright. Magazine release works great from your normal shooting position. I've always struggled with 1911s because I got to get my thumb just so far forward. But it does okay. The grip safety is really heavy. I'm not a fan of that, but that all comes down to what I'd actually buy a 1911 for. So this, for me at least, would have to be changed out. I'd have to put in a lighter spring. Maybe that's not the safest thing to do, but I really don't care. Because the purpose of what I'd use a 1911 for. Your front bushing is plastic, and kind of like to see it metal. Maybe I'm just weird, but the barrel, it's like a matte stainless almost. It doesn't look the greatest. You just get some standard target sights. Well, they're not really even target sights. Like an original 1911 has got really short sights. This would be like a step up over that. It does allow you to pick up a target okay. They're not night sights, but they are easy to pick up. Standard 1911 weight. I mean, there's nothing spectacular there. Safety, very easy to manipulate with your thumb. Hammer, just looks like a standard 1911 hammer. Nothing special about it. Trigger brake. The trigger brake's okay. I mean, it's right in line with other single actions. Unfortunately, the grip safety takes so much pressure, it screws up how light I can pull the trigger and how accurate I would be able to make a shot. I would still be pretty accurate with this, but I would definitely be taking it apart and lightening up this spring somehow, or replacing it with a lighter spring. Because otherwise, if I want to make a really, really precise shot, because I have to squeeze the grip so hard, it's going to screw up my shot placement. So, would I purchase it? Well, see, I look at 1911s differently. Yes, these can make effective combat tools. I'm not denying you of that at all. But, what a 1911 is for me, this is more like a sword or an M1 Grand or something like that. So it definitely would not be something I would reach for to like defend myself, but if I had to, I could do it. Like for example, I think they look ugly as hell if you get one with an accessory rail, so I strongly recommend you don't get one with an accessory rail. And even just mounting a light on there, because this firearm is so skinny because it's a single stack mag, the light just looks horrible. So I do recommend getting one as close to like the original design as possible. Taking down is a pain in the ass. This has a ramped frame instead of a ramped barrel. Like an XDS, you got a ramped barrel. Definitely increases the reliability. It's a single action. Trying to hit the slide release very far forward makes it difficult. So with a single action, your only option is cocked and locked or not running around in the chamber. You know, that kind of limits you. If you go with like a double single, you can run around in the chamber with your hammer down. Modern guns are a lot lighter. So to be honest, if I wanted to go with a 45, because I wanted to go with a 45, you know, I like throwing Jesus rocks, I would be looking at something else, not a 1911, if I wanted to actually use it for like a concealed carry gun or something like that. Now where the 1911 comes in for me as a showpiece or a marksman gun, because this is a single action, with an external safety, you can run a very light trigger on this and make extremely accurate shots. Unfortunately, they put the spring so heavy in the grip safety, you wouldn't be able to use that really light grip to make precise shots, because you can't weaken your grip, because making a really long, precise shot, you got to have a very light grip on it. Otherwise, you'll see your heartbeat in your front sight, and then you can make very good shots. But with the grip safety, you have to apply a hell of a grip on this thing, so I can see my heartbeat just be limited. Also, my ability to really hold some super tight groups would just be limited. Also, the little details on this. It's not bad because it's a Taurus. I wouldn't pick this because of the little things, like, for example, this serial number. It's like electric penciled in. It just looks like crap. They didn't polish the barrel. In this particular setup, I would have liked to seen a very nice polished barrel. There's plastic grips instead of wood grips. I would like to see wood grips. Myself, I would either pick like a 1911 that's World War II that has some sort of historical significance, or I would go with something really nice that just blows my socks off. This doesn't hit any of those criterias. It's not like a design of an older one that looks awesome. There's nothing special about it that just pops out and says, buy me. And at this price point, you can get ones that do. Like Ivy Johnson. They make some, well, my personal opinion, they make some that really catch my eye. And I like that a lot. Like they got ones with like a green slide, looks amazing. So, this particular 1911, I would buy, under the circumstances, say I'm a 1911 fan, you know, carry a SIG P238, and for a combat one, I have a 1911, and my kid just hit the age to where he can have a handgun, then this would be something I could buy them, they could thrash on it, and then I could eventually upgrade them from there. Or, say, for example, I've never owned a 1911. I want one affordable. It's going to be as reliable as possible, and one of the big things with 1911 is to make sure you get an anti-tilt follower, because that's where most of your malfunctions seem to come from. That or stovepipes, but stovepipes is usually because the chamber ain't polished or the chamber isn't cut properly. This has the tools in it to where it should be reliable. I mean, obviously you'd have to test it, because what should happen and what does happen is sometimes two totally different things. But the right tools are in place to where it should be reliable. So this would be something I would buy them and they could thrash on. Another reason would be like, say I like really nice, fancy 1911s, and my girl or something wants to get one so we have matching calibers. That would also be an option. As far as for myself, I really don't see a place for this. This just would not go into my collection anywhere. It doesn't hit any specific niche, because for me this is a niche pistol. I really don't understand why people, this is probably where I'm gonna get burnt at the stake, try to use these, you know, like, as their primary defense pistol. Like, I get it if you're older and it's what you're on and you're good with the platform, because you should always shoot what you're good with, no matter what. But I'm saying, like, if you're starting off, to start on this pistol, it just doesn't make sense, because there's better options out there. But if you're already good on this pistol and you want to continue to use it, and you want to get something you could thrash on or shoot a lot and it doesn't really break the bank, this would be an alright choice. And for self-defense, it doesn't really matter how tough the grip safety is. It's actually probably better to have a tougher one, because you're going to be shooting at very close range as fast as possible. But again, like I'm stressing, for me, this just doesn't have a place. There's no place at all for it in my collection. I get why some people would want it in their collection, and it does look cool with the front slide serrations, but it's just not high-end enough. It's just not... I don't know the words I'm looking for here, but yeah, it definitely don't fit in my collection. So would I buy it for myself? No. Not unless, of course, my daughter hit of age and she wanted to get into 45, and for some reason she also wanted to get into 1911, and I couldn't swear to something, you know, lighter that performs better, like an XDE. Then yeah, I could see the place for it, but as far as for me, no. But anyway, if you'd like to check out any of my other videos, click on these cards. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.